This semester, one of the freedoms we look at is freedom of the press, which is guaranteed in the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. But with that freedom of press and the ability of newspapers and media to criticize public figures and spread information that they want to spread, there is a flip side to that. As consumers of the news, we need to be able to recognize when there is bias present from a source, whether this news is real, credible, factual. So we just want to go through a few quick tips to try to protect yourself from quote-unquote fake news. And keep in mind, fake news does not mean just because you don't agree with something that is being reported that it is fake. You need to back up and look and see where the facts are coming from. So first off, consider the source of the information. Click away from that story to look at what the site is, the mission, its contact information. Where is it based out of? Where is it getting its information? This is one of the most important steps in consuming news. Try to make sure you are looking at credible sources. And one way to check that is to check your source against some other credible sources, other news reporting sources, and try to see if there's a bigger picture being painted and maybe you're only seeing one side of an issue or something that's not actually correct. Make sure you read beyond the headlines. Media today needs to get your attention because they need to sell ad space to make money. So they write headlines to try to get your attention. So those headlines sometimes can be misleading. So click on the story, read the whole thing, or at least read the first 3 paragraphs, which in a good news article it should be where the main ideas are for the story. So make sure that you don't just read a headline and instantly react to it. Check the author. Are they a credible author? Are they real? A lot of times there are fake accounts on Twitter and other social media that just forward news stories. And so it seems like it's coming from a real person or a real news organization, and it might be a fake account set up just to spread false information. Supporting sources. If the source mentions other sources of information where it got its report from, let's say it says based on a Department of Justice report from such and such and such, or based on the Defense Department's recent report on such and such and such. Click on that report. I mean, just see if it is a real report. You don't have to read the whole thing and be an expert in it, but see where are they getting their information from and did they pull the right information from it. So this doesn't have to be where you're an expert in everything, but just double check where they're getting their information. Check the date. Sometimes there are old stories presented as new, and that can be misleading. A recent example is from the migrant caravan that was working its way up through Mexico right before the election. That was a big news story in 2018. But a lot of pictures that were posted were from caravans that were years and years before and gave a misleading picture maybe of that event. So you want to make sure you're double checking when was that story written, when was that picture taken, is it even of the same event? Is it a joke? If it seems super outlandish, it could be satire. It could be someone trying to make a point by being super sarcastic about an issue. So make sure you just double check that and aren't kind of missing the point of a joke or a satirical article. Another good thing is to ask the experts. There are fact-checking news sites that you can use like PolitiFact or other sites that try to stay somewhat pretty neutral and try to tell you, okay, this is what this politician said, or this is what happened, and here's some facts to back this up. Are they telling the truth? Are they partly true? Are they twisting things to look a certain way? Another really, really good source, I have to give a shout out to your local libraries. Librarians are trained. They're not just there to help you look up a book or find where that movie is that you wanted to borrow from the library. They have to go to school specifically to help you with things like research, understanding how to source your information. So they can be really good resources if you're trying to do research on a topic. They can help point you in the right direction and help you do smart research. Finally, take a look in the mirror. Really evaluate your own biases. This is something I have to constantly do when I'm reading sources, and I have to say, does this story just reinforce something I already believe, or am I doubting this story just because it goes against my personal political views or beliefs, and should I check myself first and see, okay, is this an objective news story, and how does this new information maybe change how I should view this issue, rather than just saying, I'm only going to look at news sources that tend to agree with my beliefs already, because then you kind of wall yourself off from information. So hopefully this has been useful. Just take a moment to think about how you consume your news and what you check on and what you don't, because if you're not checking your sources, you could be misled. So that freedom of press comes with a responsibility of citizens to then be smart news consumers of that press. If you have any questions about this issue, make sure you reach out to your government teacher, and thank you for watching.